Amid the rushing current of modern life, like an unrelenting waterfall, there are moments when people suddenly feel the urge to pause. To pause and breathe, to feel, to listen to the whispers of time gone by. And in that fleeting moment, the image of a faraway land emerges somewhere in the recesses of memory. In this place, the wind brushes over curved rooftops, rivers quietly flow through moss-covered alleys, and each stone-paved path seems to carry the footsteps of generations past. This is the ancient town, those time-worn Chinese settlements where time seems to have closed its doors, allowing memories to live on forever. Ancient Town, a name as gentle as it is profound. It is more than a location, it is a living archive of cultural spirit. Preserving the soul of a civilization that has stood for millennia, each ancient town tells a long, enduring story, narrated through brick walls and tiled roofs, the clatter of wooden cart wheels, vibrant festivals, and the quiet lives of humble people unhurried by the world. When one sets foot in an ancient town, one is no longer just a tourist but a traveler of memory, journeying to seek and rediscover a version of oneself hidden in untold nostalgia. In China, ancient towns are not rare. From the frozen north to the warm south, countless towns have stood the test of centuries, quietly witnessing the flow of history. Unlike the grandeur of Beijing or the glitz of Shanghai, these towns are unassuming, unbothered by crowds. They rest gently by rivers, lean calmly against mountains, and open their hearts to those who still cherish tranquility. There, yin-yang roof tiles shimmer under the late afternoon sun. Stone bridges arch gracefully over narrow canals. Wooden houses, worn by time and covered in moss, still keep their windows open to the breeze, just as they always have. But above all, there are the people, still living, working, celebrating, and preserving the traditions their ancestors passed down. If the ancient town is the body, its festivals are the heartbeat. Every town has distinct celebrations, not meant to entertain, but to live. In Fenghuang, people float lanterns down the Tuo River during the Ghost Festival in the 7th lunar month, praying for peace and bidding farewell to wandering souls. In Lijiang, the Naxi people celebrate the Fire Festival, an awe-inspiring ritual of mesmerizing fire dances. And in Wuzhen, the Light Festival transforms the entire town into a glowing dream of shimmering lights and silhouettes. These festivals are more than just events. They are vibrant expressions of culture, a way for people to converse with the past, to connect with their ancestors, and to reinforce community bonds. And when travelers take part in them, they don't just observe, they live within them. They wear traditional costumes, hear the strains of ancient instruments, and taste dishes that appear only once a year. Some places don't need to boast or call out, they move you with just their name. Fenghuang is not only the mythical phoenix symbolizing immortality but also a real town, where beauty doesn't shout but softly seeps into the soul like morning mist settling on an old porch. Tucked alongside the winding Tuo River and nestled among the rolling mountains of Hunan Province, Fenghuang Ancient Town appears like an ink-wash painting someone quietly created centuries ago, and hung silently in the memory of time. There are no skyscrapers, no honking horns, No flashing billboards, only curved wooden roofs, red lanterns swaying on doorways, and the sound of flowing water, endlessly retelling an old, eternal tale. Stepping into the town, the traveler can't help but feel a moment of quiet wonder, as if they had accidentally opened a door leading straight into the past. The old cobbled alleyways, the stone bridges arching over emerald waters, and the riverside wooden stilt houses all retain the essence of the Ming and Qing dynasties. Time here does not rush forward. It flows so slowly that you can hear your footsteps echo on the cold stone paths. Mornings in Fenghuang begin gently, while mist still clings to the rooftops. The townspeople are already starting their day. Tea shops release soft curls of steam, and street vendors quietly push their carts along the riverside. An elderly Miao woman sits at her loom, weaving intricate floral patterns with practiced hands, stories told in threads of color. People don't speak loudly, nor laugh boisterously. Everything feels light as the breeze, delicate as drifting clouds, calm yet profoundly moving. Then, as twilight descends, Fenghuang takes on an almost otherworldly beauty. The last light of day tints the waters of the Tuo River red, reflecting the silhouettes of ancient riverside houses like ink bleeding across rice paper. Lanterns gradually light up, shimmering like stars that have fallen to earth. Slender wooden boats drift gently down the river, rowed by figures in indigo robes and traditional headscarves, softly singing folk songs, an image that seems to belong only in dreams. Yet Fenghuang's beauty goes beyond appearances. It lies deeply in the way of life and the spirit of its people. This ancient town is home to many ethnic communities, most notably the Miao and Tujia, who bring a rich tapestry of minority cultures. Their languages, clothing, customs, and sacred festivals are infused with the breath of ancient mountains and forests. The entire town comes alive with vibrant energy during the Dragon Boat Festival. Drums thunder, cheers erupt along the riverside, and ornately decorated dragon boats race through the waters. At the Ghost Festival in mid-July, people float flower lanterns down the Tuo River. Each glowing light is a wish, a prayer for loved ones, peace, and happiness. And if you're lucky, you might witness the Miao Valentine's Festival, where young men and women gather to sing love duets, exchange embroidered handkerchiefs, and offer silver bracelets as tokens of affection. The cuisine here carries the deep, rustic flavors of the mountains. Grilled fish from the Tuo River is seasoned with wild pepper. Traditional roasted corn cakes are sold fresh off the stove, and the locals proudly offer guests their fragrant corn liquor, fermented with wild herbs, strong yet sincere, just like their hospitality. But more than anything, what attracts Fenghuang into travelers' memory is the lingering spirit of the past, still present in every stone step. Folk melody, and gaze of an older man resting by his window, eyes drifting toward the river. Here, one can sense the seamless flow of time, where the past is not buried but alive and intertwined with the present. Fenghuang Ancient Town is not a destination for those in a hurry. It is meant for souls who can pause, listen, look deeply into each weathered brick and find a treasure trove of memories that time has yet to erase. After Fenghuang, our journey continues southwest, where the Yunnan Plateau unfolds into another ancient town, Lijiang. Here, snow dances atop mountain peaks, crystal clear streams trickle beneath old stone bridges, and the vibrant Naxi culture glows like a hand-woven tapestry threaded with centuries of folklore. If Fenghuang feels like an ancient poem stretched across mountains and rivers, Then Lijiang is a still symphony echoing through the highlands, where sunlight shatters across granite-paved streets. Each canal whispers a story from long ago. Located in northwestern Yunnan province, Lijiang Ancient Town has long been hailed as one of China's most beautiful old towns, a jade-green gem polished by time and memory. As the saying goes, if you want to understand ancient China, go to Beijing, but if you want to feel China alive in its soul, go to Lijiang. This town is more than a collection of old wooden rooftops, stone-paved alleys, and arched bridges. It is a world unto itself, where each step carries you through overlapping layers of space and time. Lijiang has no fortresses, no defensive walls, yet its structure breathes with natural rhythm. Built along the contours of the mountains and flowing with the waters of the Jade River, the town fans out into dozens of narrow branches, weaving through its core like delicate veins. The ancient granite streets, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, curve beside clear canals, guiding you past stone bridges and moss-covered eaves. By day, the highland sunlight dances across the water's surface, reflecting glimpses of locals washing clothes by the banks, travelers strolling with maps, and children giggling around food stalls. At night, red lanterns glow softly above the streets, their faint light casting long shadows across old bridges, evoking an enchanting scene from another lifetime. In Lijiang, no one is in a hurry. People live as if tomorrow isn't guaranteed, but the present is complete. Tea houses stay open all day, and the scent of jasmine, burning incense, and fresh pastries gently drifts through the cool mountain breeze. Unlike many ancient towns marked by Han heritage, Lijiang belongs to the Naxi people, an ethnic minority with a unique and deeply rooted culture. Among their most remarkable contributions is the Dongba script, the world's only pictographic writing system still used today. Primarily for rituals and recording folk traditions, the Naxi traditional attire is a symphony of color, fitted jackets, flowing skirts, embroidered sashes, and cloaks adorned with the sun and moon, symbols of cosmic harmony. Along the old streets, it's not uncommon to see older women in traditional dress, wicker baskets on their backs, paper fans in hand, sitting on porches as they chat, knit, or sell handcrafted goods. And here too, the music of the Naxi people lives on. Ancient instruments and age-old melodies continue to echo through the dusk. The music is not loud nor grand, it is tender, haunting, like a whispered tale from centuries past, carried on the strings of old lutes. The breeze, and the gaze of an elder artisan singing quietly by the doorway. During festivals, Lijiang seems to awaken into a golden age. One of the most mesmerizing events is the Naxi Torch Festival, held in the 6th lunar month. Locals light massive torches, parade through the winding streets, and dance and sing into the night to ward off evil spirits and pray for bountiful harvests. The flickering flames fall like stars to the earth, turning the entire town into a glowing tapestry of sacred warmth and ancestral memory. Another unique festival is the Sandwo Festival, held in honor of the Naxi people's guardian deity, a god on a white horse who is believed to protect the land from dark forces. During this sacred occasion, locals dress in ceremonial attire and pilgrimage to the summit of Jade Dragon Snow Mountain to offer prayers and sacrifices. Festivals here are more than just cultural events, they are the lifeblood of the community, where everyone, whether local or visitor, becomes part of the living current of tradition. Those who come to Lijiang for the first time are often captivated by its serene beauty. Those who return do so for the land's and its people's warmth. And those who stay longer may never want to leave, not because life here is easier, but because it offers a deeply real, profoundly human peace. Nothing else makes time feel so gentle. Nowhere else makes the heart stir so easily. Lijiang needs no glitter to shine, for its beauty comes from within. From the ancient breath of stone, water, and soul, from Lijiang, our journey turns eastward, toward Wuzhen, one of the most iconic water towns in Jiangnan, quietly reflecting its image on the river's surface, as if waiting for us to enter a ballad of romance sung through timber, old tiles, and the shadow of passers-by in the mist. Some places need no towering mountains or vast oceans, no elaborate rituals or roaring crowds, just a quiet wooden street, a slow-moving stream, and the soft dip of an oar touching water, enough to enchant the heart of any traveler. Wuzhen, nestled along a riverbank in northern Zhejiang province, is such a place. If Lijiang is a stone and mountain painting, Wuzhen is poetry written in water and wood. A town where every street ends at a river's edge, every story begins with the sound of flowing water, and every scene feels like it stepped out of a centuries-old Jiangnan painting. In the Yangtze River Delta, Wuzhen has existed for over 1.300 years, once part of the ancient trade network that flourished during the Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties. The name Wuzhen, literally, Black Town, comes from the black-gray tiles covered in moss and aged brick walls stained by time, creating a somber, elegant melody rarely matched elsewhere. Unlike modern towns that rise upward, Wuzhen stays low and lives deep, rooted in memory. The water here is not vast, but delicate, flowing like white silk past wooden homes, small balconies, and vine-covered alleys. No cars are needed, just a boat. No rush is necessary, just a cup of tea and a quiet afternoon watching lanterns sway in the breeze. Wuzhen is a beautiful fusion of traditional Jiangnan architecture and the rustic lifestyle of residents. Ancient houses, built from dark rosewood with high curved eaves and sun-faded whitewashed walls, stand close together. Beneath your feet are winding cobblestone paths tracing the canals, leading past stone and wooden bridges that link both banks like brushstrokes in an old poem. The town is divided into two main areas, Dongza, East Wuzhen, and Shizhe, West Wuzhen. East Wuzhen preserves its original simplicity, which has barely changed since the Ming and Qing dynasties. Here, traditional crafts flourish, indigo dyeing, papermaking, wood carving, and lantern crafting. West Wuzhen, meanwhile, is dreamier by night, its reflections glimmering on the water as if gold dust had been scattered across the river. In the morning, before sunlight touches the rooftops, you hear the gentle splash of oars, the warm call of an older woman selling rice cakes, the soft creak of a wooden cart crossing a bridge. By evening, red lanterns glow behind wooden windows, their warm light casting shimmering reflections on the river, like scenes from an ink-wash painting brought to life. Though peaceful and restrained, Wuzhen bursts into celebration during its vibrant festival seasons. Around the Lantern Festival in the lunar calendar, Wuzhen becomes a sea of light. Locals craft lanterns in the shapes of carp, lotus flowers, dragons, and phoenixes, hanging them throughout the narrow alleys. Children parade in traditional dress parades with lanterns, while adults make wishes and float candle-lit lanterns on the water. The Wuzhen Water Culture Festival celebrates Jiangnan's folk arts, water dances, river shadow puppetry, flower boat parades, and recitations of ancient poetry. It takes place along the canals, a stroll through art and memory. The water deity sacrifice festival is most sacred in the third lunar month, an ancient ritual praying for favorable weather and agricultural blessings. Locals wear ceremonial dress, gather by the river to offer incense, and sing the Shui Ling song, a prayer sent forth through flowing water. The cuisine of Wuzhen, though simple, is refined and profound, a perfect reflection of the way of life here, unpretentious, yet rich in meaning. Wuzhen stinky tofu is a beloved street food, crispy on the outside, fragrant and tender inside, served with a special house-made soy sauce fermented using age-old local methods. Jiangnan fish soup, fresh fish simmered with lotus root, red dates, and herbs, offers a gentle, sweet taste and is often enjoyed at family gatherings. Lotus leaf steamed rice cakes are made by wrapping sticky rice, salted egg yolks, and marinated pork in tender lotus roots, then boiling until aromatic and soft. And of course, there is oolong tea, best savored in silence, perhaps under a riverside eve, accompanied by the soft strumming of a guqin, or simply watching the steam rise into the golden light of dusk. Some come to Wuzhen out of curiosity, and leave in haste, but others come seeking themselves, amid rows of quiet timber houses, under golden lanterns in the stillness of night, and through the murmur of water slipping through the cracks of time. In Wuzhen, one learns how to live slowly, how to sit still, how to observe, and how to love silence without loneliness. Here, time is no longer measured in hours, but in moments that seep into the skin, linger in every breath, and quietly settle in the heart forever. The final stop in China's legendary quintet of ancient towns, where footsteps echo across dew-drenched stone streets like whispers from the past. Nestled in the misty heart of Jiangnan, among canal veins that seem to pulse with the breath of the earth, lies Zitang, a town that quietly preserves its unique soul despite the fame of its neighboring heritage sites. If Fenghuang is a mountain ballad, Lijiang a poem in stone, and Wuzhen a silk ribbon of water, Zitang is the sigh of time, resonating through morning dew and time-worn cobblestones. They say Zitang is not for the hurry. Everything here is soft, still, and seemingly paused, just long enough for you to hear your heartbeat. Ancient wooden homes rest quietly by narrow waterways, alleyways twist like a labyrinth, and red lanterns sway gently in the breeze. Like the tired eyes of the town, gazing back at countless moons, full and waning, located in Zhejiang province, close to Hangzhou and Shanghai, Zitang stands in quiet contrast to the bustle of its metropolitan neighbors. With over 1.000 years of history dating back to the Song dynasty, the town has preserved its original water-based urban layout, where houses face the canal and back onto the streets, and stone bridges link the banks like lifelines across generations. Entering Zitang is like stepping into a living ink-washed painting, one still wet with memory. No bright colors, only hushed tones. The black of aged roof tiles, the brown of carved timber, the silvery gray of old walls, the still green of canals, and the warm red glow of countless lanterns dancing in the air. Zitang is not vast, but deep, not tall, but resonant. Every street is a story, every bridge is a greeting. Every passing silhouette awakens a piece of memory. One of Zitang's most unique features is its covered corridor system, over a kilometer of continuous eaves running along the canal. A rare architectural remnant from the Ming and Qing dynasties. Under these eaves, red lanterns hang in staggered rows, creating a half-enclosed, half-open world, sheltered yet connected. Beneath the covered corridors are cozy shops selling tea, sweets, and handmade crafts. You can sit on a small wooden stool, sip a cup of chrysanthemum tea, watch the slow procession of locals and travelers alike, and listen to the distant sound of oars, a quiet symphony of stillness. Zitang's bridges are gentle strokes across water, over 25 ancient stone spans, each with its shape, name, and legend. There's the Bridge of Wind, the Bridge of Dreams, and even Bridge images tied to tales of tragic love, each one like a short story left unwritten, waiting to be felt rather than told. Though quiet in everyday life, Zitang glows with mystical charm during its festivals. The Lantern Festival in Zitang, held during the Lantern Festival holiday, transforms the ancient town into a sea of glowing light. Tens of thousands of red, golden, and amber lanterns hang from the eaves and line the canals, their reflections dancing on the water's surface, evoking the feeling of stepping into a dreamlike vision of ancient China. The Summer Flower Boat Festival is another local highlight. Beautifully decorated wooden boats, rowed by locals, glide through the canals to the sound of traditional music and bursts of applause. Each ship features representations of deities or costumed couples portraying legendary tales, bringing to life the rich folk culture of Zhangnan. Other folk festivals, such as the Dragon Boat Festival and Mid-Autumn Festival, are celebrated in more intimate yet significant ways. Visitors can join locals in wrapping sticky rice dumplings, releasing floating lanterns, or listening to fairy tales by the glow of a hearth fire. Zitang's cuisine is a delicate balance of gentle sweetness and the poetic spirit of an ancient water town. Its famous sweet rice cakes are made from fragrant, glutinous rice filled with red bean paste or black sesame, steamed to perfection, and drizzled with wild honey, soft, chewy, and sweet like the unhurried rhythm of life here. Braised carp and soy sauce, a traditional dish often enjoyed during festivals, features fresh fish cooked with rich fermented soybean paste until it turns a deep amber brown, aromatic and savory. And then there is Zitang's Wadiao wine, naturally fermented from glutinous rice and local herbs. Aged in clay jars for over a decade, it carries a warm kick, a lingering sweetness, and a nostalgic echo of winter's comfort. Zitang makes no noise, no grand promotions, no dazzling billboards, and perhaps that's why it remains so beautifully intact in the hearts of its visitors. It's not a place you visit to snap a photo, it's where you come to slow down, reflect, feel, and sometimes cry for something long forgotten. Vague, ancient, yet deeply real. Here, even a light rain stirs the heart. A bamboo branch swaying in the wind might make you pause. A lantern's reflection on the water is enough to inspire poetry. That's Zitang, not dazzling, but deep, not instantly captivating, but endlessly enduring. all traveled through 4 enchanting ancient towns, Fenghuang, Lijiang, Wuzhen, and Zhejiang. Ahead lies the final chapter of our journey, Dali, a dreamlike land in China's southwest, where mountains and lakes become one, and where the culture of the Bai people is etched into every home, festival, and hypnotic fire dance. Some places we visit for their beauty, others for their history, and then there are places we see because of a longing we can't quite name, as if in some distant dream. We had once walked their streets and left a piece of our soul behind. The ancient town of Dali, once the capital of the old Dali kingdom, is such a place. Nestled between the Kangshan Mountains and Erhai Lake, Dali is a masterpiece of nature fused with culture, a timeless paradise in southwestern China. Unlike the water-borne towns of Zhongli, Dali was born from mountains and wind, as the former capital of a kingdom that flourished for over 500 years in the 10th-13th century. Its ancient architecture is steeped in the splendor of Bai civilization. Step into Dali, and you're greeted by cool breezes from the high lake, fresh highland air, and, most notably, a vast sense of openness. It contrasts starkly with the narrow, meditative spaces of eastern towns. Golden sunlight spills over rooftops, filters through parasol trees, and bathes the white walls and black tiled roofs typical of Bai homes. Dali isn't somber, it's vibrant, free, and as open-hearted as the southwest sky, where Fenghuang and Wuzhen offer refined intimacy. Dali's architecture is bold and expansive. Traditional Bai houses feature white walls, black decorative treads, and rooftops that arc like eagle wings. At their center lies an open courtyard, where sunlight, rain, and mountain wind converge. Dali's most iconic landmark is the Three Pagodas, ancient towers over 1,000 years old, crafted from brick and adorned with intricate carvings. They stand tall as silent witnesses to a golden age. Behind them lies Chongsheng Temple, still an active place of prayer, where locals light lanterns and sing traditional Bai melodies. In the heart of the town is the Southern Gate, a remnant of Dali's old city wall. It features an arched gateway with moss-covered tiles and carvings of stone lions, phoenixes, and dragons, symbols of protection and permanence. And then there's Erhai Lake, Erhai, a massive, mirror-like body of water that reflects the heavens. It is crystal clear, and you can see the bottom. The lake is traversed by quiet fishing boats that glide across its surface like ink strokes in a living watercolor painting. Locals live in rhythm with the lake. At dawn, you might see Bai women in white headscarves and blue tunics washing laundry by the shore. Boys fishing from old wooden bridges, and elders cycling slowly by, singing ancient folk songs. To the west rises Kangshan Mountain, often shrouded in mist, serving as a protective wall behind the town. Locals believe Kangshan and Erhai are sacred guardians, symbolizing the harmony of yin and yang, heaven and earth. while Zatang captivates with lanterns. Dali enchants with its festivals, especially the March Fair, San Yu Jia Jia, a week-long cultural convergence whereby Yi, Han, and Tibetan communities gather to share music, craft, and ancient dances. Each evening becomes a wild celebration of fireworks, song, and fire dances around roaring bonfires, where lovers exchange handkerchiefs and sing ballads of longing. The Chrysanthemum Festival dresses the town in gold, white, and violet blooms in autumn. Locals sip chrysanthemum tea, bake pastries, paint flowers, and share fairy tales with children beneath the eaves. Dali is the land of Shan Snow Tea, a wild tea harvested at altitudes over 2.000 meters. Its large leaves carry a pure fragrance, bitter at first, then melting into a lingering sweetness. It's brewed in celadon glazed clay teapots, featuring cloud and water motifs, phoenixes, and symbols of natural harmony. Dali's cuisine is humble, yet brimming with personality. Are high-steamed fish and lotus leaves, seasoned with rock salt and herbs, then steamed in lake water. Fresh and fragrant, Dali-style rice wraps, made from brown rice flour, rolled with chili sauce and fresh herbs, shaped like little pouches, symbols of happiness. Traditional Bai yogurt, fermented with Highland wild roots, thick, tangy, and distinctly unique, is often sold at morning lakeside markets. After leaving Dali, you might not remember every house, street, or dish, but you will remember what it felt like to stand by her high lake. The golden sunset reflected on the water. You'll remember the laughter of children playing under the mountains, and the soft scent of pine wood from quiet, old homes. Dali doesn't try to make you fall in love with it simply opens its heart to you. And in doing so, it leaves a quiet mark on yours. One day, in the bustle of some noisy city, you'll pause and think, ah, I once slowed down there. I once dreamed there. Dali. Some journeys don't end when your footsteps stop. They continue quietly, deep within. As I left Dali, a soft wind carried the scent of ancient tea leaves and damp highland soil. But what lingered most wasn't the mountains, rivers, or sunsets. It was the silent thread connecting the 5 ancient towns we had visited. Fenghuang, Lijiang, Wuzhen, Zatang, and Dali. 5 names like 5 chapters in an old book, still whispering to each other through the mists of memory. On the map of China, if one spreads one's hand wide, each fingertip would touch an ancient town, like the joints of history itself. To the south lies Fenghuang, nestled shyly by the emerald waters of the Tuo River. In the northwest sits Lijiang, where the whisper of flowing canals echoes like the voice of ancient gods. Wuzhen and Zatang, twin towns draped in muted silk, sit side by side in the Jiangnan region. And finally, Dali, my last destination, stands quietly in the southwest, between the vast Erhai Lake and the majestic Kang Mountains, like a hermit who has weathered the ages with unshaken serenity. Taken as a whole, these towns are more than just tourist destinations. They form a spiritual network, a living structure where memory and culture flow like an underground spring. Each ancient town has its architecture, yet curiously, every stone, every tile, every window frame speaks the same language, the language of time. In Fenghuang, I sat beneath a wooden eave, watching rain fall on the river and listening to the soft clack of wooden clogs on the stone path. In Lijiang, I wandered through a maze of canals and wooden walls engraved with mysterious Dongba script. In Wuzhen and Zatang, I stood silent beneath moonlight glinting off moss-covered roofs, as the sound of a distant flute floated in from a small boat, a message from the past. And in Dali, the town no longer confined itself to quaintness. It opened into a vast horizon, wide as the spirit of the Bai people. Here, architecture was not decor but embodiment, a part of the ancient, quiet soul that had endured for millennia. Strangely, though each town carries its tone and temperament, they all harmonize in an ancient symphony. Perhaps it is because they share a familiar spirit, the spirit of preservation. In an increasingly modern and hectic world, these towns are like oil lamps still burning faintly. Not striving, merely existing. The locals don't live to display the past. They live within it. They breathe, eat, and love just as their ancestors did. They don't wear traditional dress just for photos. They wear it because it's what they always have. Their festivals aren't staged for tourists. They're performed because belief is in their blood. I witnessed many festivals along the way. The Lantern Festival in Wuzhen, where the Jiangnan night transformed into a floating Milky Way. The March Face Washing Festival in Dali, where bonfires lit up village squares and the Bai people danced and sang to pounding drums. Folk song festivals in Fenghuang, and Naxi cultural celebrations in Lijiang. Time seemed to slow down each time, as if someone had pressed pause on the modern world so that memory could step forward and live again. I also came to see each ancient town as a personality. Fenghuang is like a quiet meow girl, simple yet full of inner strength. Lijiang is a contemplative musician, living between rock and the invisible currents of history. Wuzhen is a brush painter, and each stroke is as soft as wind. Zitang is an old storyteller, unadorned, yet deeply sincere. And Dali is the philosopher king, once a ruler and warrior, now a sage living in tranquil seclusion among mountains and lakes, asking for no remembrance, only to remain whole. As I left the last ancient town, it didn't feel like an end, more like receiving an ancient code. A whisper from the earth and sky saying, if you seek peace, don't look in tall buildings or glittering plazas. Walk back through time, seek out the ancient towns, where every cobbled path bears ancestral footprints, where every willow branch by the river has seen countless partings and reunions, where memory never grows old. And so, this is the spiritual mosaic of China's 5 most beautiful ancient towns, a communion of distinct places, yet attuned like 5 notes in a classical harmony. My journey did not begin with an invitation, but with a quiet yearning to return to the old ways. I realized I needed a pause in a whirlwind world where life rushes by on every street corner. Not to rest, but to return to what once rooted me. And so, like a silent stream finding its source, I began a journey to explore 5 ancient towns, 5 moss-covered brushstrokes on the vast canvas of China: Fenghuang, Lijiang, Wuzhen, Zitang, and Dali. I arrived in Fenghuang on an autumn afternoon, sunlight pouring over the Tuo River like honey. The journey was long, a flight to Zhangjiajie, then 4 hours by car through winding mountains. But the moment my feet touched the first stone leading into the town, I knew the journey was worth it. Ancient wooden houses stood shoulder to shoulder along the riverbank, their mossy tiles glistening, red lanterns hanging in the hazy dusk. I walked through cobbled streets, listened to water whisper beneath bridges, and watched Miao people smile in brilliantly embroidered clothes. At night, lanterns lit up the riverbank. I sat on the stone steps, quietly watching people pass by, feeling like I had lived here long ago. From Fenghuang, I flew southwest to Lijiang, the town of snow-capped mountains in ancient memory. If Fenghuang was a lyrical poem, Lijiang was a haunting ballad. Canals weaved through the old city like silver threads, spanned by arching stone bridges like raised brows. Crimson wood houses with intricately carved windows opened into a world at once familiar and foreign. I stayed 3 days, long enough to lose myself in its ancient maze, where each alley held a tea house, a wine shop, or a musician singing Naxi folk songs. One morning, I climbed a hill to see the town unfold below like fish scales glinting in soft sun. In the afternoon, I wandered to Shuhi village, mesmerized by ancient murals and elders weaving cloth in the shade. After Lijiang, I turned eastward, returning to the gentle land of Jiangnan to visit 2 misty gems, Wuzhen and Zitang. Landing in Shanghai, I journeyed south by car. Stepping into Wuzhen felt like entering a fairy tale. Water flowed through streets, reflected off rooftops, and mirrored the moon in silence. By day, Wuzhen was calm as freshly steeped tea, scented by dye workshops, ceramic shops, and bookish tea houses. By night, it became a dream. Small boats glided silently, boatmen sang ancient songs, and lanterns shimmered like falling stars. I sat in a canal-side tea house, listened to distant flutes, and felt my soul slow down, like the river cradling the town in gentle arms. Zitang was quieter, less adorned, but it was this simplicity and calm that moved me. Narrow alleys paved in blue stone, brick walls stained with time, tiny shops selling handmade wares, artisans carving under trees. Together they painted a scene honest and humble. I rented a bike and circled the town on a cool morning. Wind carrying the scent of damp wood and bird calls. It wasn't sightseeing, it was a quiet conversation with the past. And finally, the road brought me to Dali. Once a capital, the kingdom's heart rests peacefully between vast High Lake and towering Kang Mountains. The air felt different here, vast skies, bright light, wind rustling with scents of earth and rock. I cycled around the lake, past mustard fields, visited Bai villages, ate spicy noodles in the old market, and sat under trees by the water, wind chimes tinkling in midday sun. One evening, I was invited to the Bai March Festival, a whirlwind of folk music, fire dances, games, and vivid costumes swirling like a wild dance of memory. When my trip ended, I brought home more than photos or souvenirs. I carried back a treasure, memory, emotion, a fragment of ancient time still pulsing in me. 5 towns, 5 tales, 5 tones, but all taught me this. Some places remain slow and deep in a fast, shallow world, and those places often remind us how to live truthfully, deeply, and gently. From contemplative Fenghuang to radiant Lijiang, from water-lit Wuzhen to whispering Zitang, and finally to vast, wordless Dali. Each ancient town is a chapter written in time, in the sweat of generations, in the laughter of festivals, and tears shed beneath old wooden eaves. We live in a century where everything can be scrolled past in seconds, a pretty photo, a short clip, a flash review. But ancient towns aren't for check-ins or aesthetic selfies. They are the living bodies of history. They are the final breath of what is truly profound in East Asian culture. Raw gems need no polish or spotlight, just the patience to see, listen, and feel. Have you ever wondered what makes a place an ancient town? Are the curved tiles, the river crossings, and the red lanterns that light up the night? Or is it the unspoken memories, alive in the air, in how locals greet the new year, hold ceremonies, stitch under small windows? Ancient towns do not exist by accident, nor will they disappear by accident. They survive modern storms, new malls, and looming hotels because someone sweeps old eaves, maintains traditional festivals, and carries on ancestral crafts. But they cannot do it alone. They need you, not to live there, not to leave the city or become a scholar. Stroll when you visit, look a bit longer, ask one more question, sip your tea for a few moments more. Instead of only taking photos, capture the scent, the sound, and the feeling. Don't let ancient towns become dead museums. Let them breathe on in your living memory. I write this not just as a conclusion, but as a minor pact between humans, that we will cherish this weathered beauty. Not with money or effort, but with reverence. We should honor the old, we may see the value in the new. To honor tradition, to understand the vast roots beneath our feet. When you return to everyday life, ancient towns may recede, but sometimes, a faint scent of wood, or a folk tune on a busy street, will stir your heart again. That is the moment you'll know, the ancient town within you has never disappeared. And thus ends the journey called, Top 5 Ancient Towns of China. But as you know, a true journey never really ends. It only changes form, from footsteps to memory, words to heart. See you again, perhaps in some misty ancient town, where we can sit, share a cup of tea, and quietly listen to the past whisper. And just like that, today's journey through the breathtaking ancient towns of China comes to a close. But you know what? A traveler's steps never truly stop. They're just taking a short break, gearing up for the next great adventure. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to thumbs up, give it a like to keep us going. Leave a comment to share your thoughts or your favorite travel destination. Share this video with fellow wanderlusters like you. And most importantly, subscribe plus turn on the notification bell, so you won't miss any of the ancient towns still waiting to be discovered. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. See you in the next video. Wishing you a day that's rich in ancient charm and full of inspiration. Van Yuan Toi Ju Them Gi Kong? Now script intro cho video? Viet Fan Mo Ta YouTube Hap Dan? Hey Goi Y to you de Seo friendly?